Welcome to Career Juice, where we talk to real people with real jobs and get all the juice that it takes to succeed in the areas that they chose. I'm your host, Tiffany Yard, author of How to Wine with Your Boss and the owner of Motovino, an education platform that pairs professional development training with really fun programs in wine. Today, we're talking with Camillia Cudjoe, owner of You See Me Glam Studio and licensed stylist here in Brooklyn, New York. So let's get started. What were you doing about 5 or 6 years ago?
Actually, I was in a major transition around that time, to be honest. I actually was working at a hair salon in Brooklyn, not too far from my house. And you know, the hair salon, it was great. I loved working there. I loved the atmosphere. I loved working with the people. I had to decide, okay, if I'm going to do something more, not necessarily own a business or own that type of business, I need to do more things. I need to do other things. So that's when I decided to quit, get a job doing a 9 to 5. So I had a set schedule so I could actually go back to school. I have my license, but I didn't get my degree, my bachelor's. Picked up where I left off, but with a refreshed mind.
Look, they say entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
It's not.
What would you think is one of the biggest lessons you learned?
You really have no idea how much work it is until you're in it.
For sure.
Staying on top of what's going on.
Right.
You know, with social media and stuff like that out. You know, constant things are fed to you and you're like, okay, this is new information. And
it keeps you relevant.
It keeps you have to stay relevant.
When your client walks in at 8 a.m., it doesn't even matter because you still got to show up for your client.
You still have to go to work. Literally.
That's right. You also have a really nice, wonderful staff that I know and love and appreciate. Mm-hmm. So having to train them up and having to manage people, what do you think has been one of the biggest lessons on that side?
Working with family is tough. Because they're all my family, but I am also very fortunate because they are my family. Right. There's that aspect of family. They naturally want to see you do well. Most days it is fun. I love them. They give me such joy.
What are the top pieces of advice that you give them to make them come to work every day? Not just happy, but productive.
You can control your own destiny. You have the tools. You just have to find them. You have to tap into them. Because it's a wonderful feeling, you know?
When you're walking in your strengths, for sure.
Correct. It makes you feel good. It makes you want to do more.
It's true.
It just gives you a really good sense of self-worth.
Yeah, and you actually train a lot of them personally.
Yes, I do.
Which is wonderful. Do you find that, once you've trained them, do they kind of make things their own? What do you see happen after you kind of let go of the reins?
They actually do both. They add value to my business monetarily and just the attitude, the atmosphere, the knowledge that they have that they're able to give, clients that come in.
What would the stylist of 2020 need to have in her toolkit to really do well as an entrepreneur, even just as a stylist in this city specifically?
The stylists of 2020 need to have a phone that has data. Okay? Or access to Wi-Fi as much as you can. They have to have apps that edit photos, that edit videos, that can make digital flyers if they need to. They have to have some type of branding support to make sure that their communication is up and running, no hiccups, because this is your money. So if people can't reach you, you can't get to the money. You gotta get to it. You have to have really good confidence about what it is that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. What's been one of the most challenging aspects of getting to this point? Because most people just see the success. They see, all right, this was a great entrepreneur making it, great client base. But what do you think has been some things what has it cost you?
You never lose the money. You lose time with family, time with friends, relationships, sometimes time for yourself. It is always a price. It's a price. It comes with it. You gotta make sure that what you're gaining is fulfilling enough so that the things that you're losing, you won't completely lose yourself in that. The hardest thing for me, I would say, readjusting my time, reclaiming my time.
Who do you think have been the most influential people in your life?
I have to go to my son. Absolutely. You know, times where I feel like, I'm calling my boyfriend like, that's it. I'm just going to get a regular job. I'm not doing this. This is too much. It's too demanding, Then I'm like, I know why I set out to do this. It gave me the freedom to be able to take care of my child and myself and not be a burden to anyone, because that's ultimately
the greatest gift, especially the family. What kind of marketing advice would you give aside from the apps and the presets and all of those random tools that are helpful from a personality perspective? What should someone be working on personally to really fit in and to do well
in this industry? Appearance is everything, and I was resistant against it because I'm like, my work should speak for itself. But when you're dealing with the public, and again, social media and you putting yourself out there, they want to see a certain image. And that means they want to make sure that the place that they're coming to looks a certain way, that it matches up with the level of work that you're giving, how you handle people, how you deal with people, how you speak to people, how you present yourself. It has to all be on par, because the public have to want to do business with you.
If you've got a difficult conversation with one of your employees, how do you handle it?
I always wait. I have incredible patience. People don't come to your establishment to know what negative things are going on. They come because they want a service. They come to buy a product, and that's all they really care about. Exactly.
And it's a lot easier to get money out of existing customers than to the amount of money you spend trying to get new ones.
Exactly. So, retention is key.
What we're drinking today is Tanat. It's a wonderful grape that has its origins in France, but these days you find them in Uruguay. Oh. So this particular blend is a Zinfandel Merlot Tanat, and it's jammy, it's raisiny, you taste some chocolate in there. It's so funky, and guess what? Half the price of what you pay ultimately for like some fancy Bordeaux or some Merlot out of the old world countries. So really good value, awesome flavors, great with burgers, great with steak, and even a great sipping wine.
I like it.
And at 14% alcohol, quite litty. How do you de-stress?
Me, I pray. I try to not stress too much because I try to be busy just being thankful. I don't know about everyone else, but the way my faith is set up for me, He is my provider, and I truly depend on the Lord God for everything. So I know there's a verse in Matthew. Why are you worried? And I take it the same way, like, why are you stressed? Give it to me. And I truly take that verse to heart. So when stress comes, we all can't escape stress. It is what it is. I look at it as just that. It is what it is. There's always something on the other side of it. That hill, that mountain is always something else. So you just gotta pray, stay centered, meditate if you have to. Whatever it is, find that thing that keep you pushing.
Adjust your attitude.
And adjust your attitude.
Yeah,
if you can't adjust the situation.
Who you speak to through this.
That's true.
And
I didn't even think about that.
And Career Juice is meant to be that. It's at the end of the day inspiring someone who may not have seen this opportunity the same way before. And you being ultimately a virtual mentor. And I'm sure someone that is ready to talk to anybody about anything and answer questions out there. To seek you out for advice.
I learn a lot from the people that come in these chairs. You never know who's sitting after you don't. That's why you got to make sure you're always on. You don't know how this person that sat in this chair can help you out 10 years down the line.
That's networking, ultimately.
Yeah.
Planting those seeds. And, I tell people all the time, when you're making a relationship, especially if it's going to be real, you don't ever want to be in that fire drill mode, but you met someone once and you're picking up the phone saying, hey, I need a job, I need help.
Right.
It's not the approach. It's every time you meet them, it's just giving a little.
Yeah.
Good energy, keeping it light, giving them, respecting their space ultimately, and letting that happen organically.
Don't be afraid to take a lead on a certain situation. If you hear about something that they're talking about, and it's something that you're interested in, or want to know more information about, there's a way to do things without seeming like you're prying or whatever. Want to ask that extra question or want to get that extra information?
You never know.
Go for it. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
If you're not being rude or disrespectful about it, go for it.
Listen, nothing wrong with questions.
No.
Because the worst you can get is an answer.
Exactly what I'm saying.
What's going on? What's going on?
Okay. The one is talking.
Yeah,
I like
it is. This is the best part of the show for me.
Life is all about opportunities
and mutual benefit.
Don't miss them. Don't wait for them. They don't wait for you. You gotta take them. I think that's the most I've learned, like being an entrepreneur. Like you have to go do it. You have to go get it. Nobody's gonna give it to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, down to finding a place to rent. Some things you would think, okay, you just find a place to rent. No, months calling people back. Hey, I want this spot. How much is it? How much? People move slowly on. You gotta bug people sometime. They gotta know you serious.
True.
If you want it to happen, you gotta make it happen.
There are some people who sit on things because they want all the information. As an entrepreneur to another entrepreneur, is that you will never have all of the answers.
No.
You're gonna have to walk in faith. Sometimes you might not have all the answers right away.
No.
Because you actually have to fail at something to get that certain answers.
But what's important is when you do make the mistakes, you don't let that get the best of you. You don't stop. Because later is greater.
You raise a good point with that, because I think delayed gratification is a real problem. Because, the minute you get something, you want to celebrate it, you want to start, money you get, you want to start spending it. It takes a lot of discipline to say, you know what, later will be greater, and I can't spend this right now. I've got to save this for, the new installations, the new appliances.
I'm probably spending money from like 6 months ago. Who knows? I think someone read my horoscope or my moon sign or whatever it is, and they say, I like to take risk. And I'm like, I don't. I don't like risky business. It's like, this whole shop, this is a risk. And I was like, you're right. It was like, but you're very methodical in it. I was like, because I asked everyone and then mama questions. The people who want it for me, though. I'm not going to ask you questions if you already decided that you don't want it for me. Because some people will decide they don't want something for you, You like, but I didn't ask you about if I should have it. I just asked you about what should I do within this aspect. And someone has already made their mind that you shouldn't have it. You shouldn't do that. They're not a good candidate to ask a question. They're not. If you decide that you want to open up a hula hoop factory, I don't know why I said hula hoop. And I say to you, you shouldn't open up a hula hoop factory. You shouldn't do that.
It's the wrong person.
Don't come ask me for advice now on how much hula hoops you should buy, what color hula hoops you should have, where you should open up the factory at. They already decided that you shouldn't even have this factory. They're going to tell you to open it up in the worst area because you're like, that's so, it's so bad in that area. Okay, then maybe you shouldn't open up a factory. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to tell you to get the worst color. I don't know. I don't think people are going to really buy that color. Then maybe you should open up a factory.
Those seeds of doubt will undermine a dream so quickly. Believe me. I
had a few people that were telling me not to open up a hula hoop factory. You know what I don't do? I don't ask them no questions. They just find out what's happening next.
That's the juice.
That's the juice. A good time to partner, in my experience of having a partner, is when you kind of fully understand the situation. If you can and really do thorough research on it and know what you can really truly bring to the table, you have a better idea of understanding what your role has to be with the partner that you. Because if you both dive in and then y'all both find out it's something different, that leads to a lot of problems. Because now you guys never assess the expectations. This situation calls for us to work 12-hour days or 16-hour days. And the other partner is like, well, I only work 8. Wow. 10 if you're lucky. That's a problem. Yeah. Because who's going to pick up the other 6 hours or the other 8 hours?
It falls on you.
Right.
And that doesn't feel fair.
Because you may be willing to work 16-hour days. You understand? So either y'all both going to be only working 8-hour days or we not working those days together. Be working separately. Drink up. Don't piss me off. This is why can't you piss off?
Because the lessons that you learned from the hardest days that you've had has prepared you to be the kind of entrepreneur, the kind of boss that people want to work for, that people want to stick around for. Because yes, there's aspects of having, you know, clients and employees and people who respect you out of fear, but it's really loyalty and respect.
And I don't manage my business under the thumb of fear. I don't do that. But there's a way to be stern without being a bitch. You know, male or female. A little bit of transparency goes a long way.
For sure.
Especially in a small business. This is not a corporation.
And that's the beauty of small business. The level of transparency that you can certainly
But some people try to have corporate level transparency in a small business situation. You can't. People can see. They can see things. They can see what's going on. Explain. Unfortunately, unlike a corporation, a small business cannot afford to have a high turnaround rate. It looks bad. A corporation, nobody knows. Nobody's looking. Unless you're going on Glassdoor or something. It's a constant assessment. Not constant like every day, but damn near.
But regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few times a year for sure.
Yeah. What am I doing and what can I be doing better?
Right.
What do I need to change? Whether it's for the sake of your business or for your own personal sanity.
Thank you so much to CC of You See Me Glam Studio for joining us. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for more career juice.
This is really good.
Good wine. It's a good time.